Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Pokemon Blue version for the Game Boy. Not the Game Boy Color, just the Game Boy. But we are playing on an analog pocket, so we're not exactly playing on original hardware. But, yeah, we got here to the SS Anne. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
My memory serves me well.
The last episode, or last episode's last game session, I completely fucked over our starter.
Yeah.
And, he doesn't have a my Ivysaur does not have a stab grass type move. I lost Vine Whip by accident, and now we have to wait until Razor Leaf before, Ivysaur is ready to fight like it should. We are not playing a Nuzlocke, by the way. I should point that out because we are way higher level than a lot of the shit we're fighting. And that's mostly to do with the fact that I'm not leaving any trainer unchallenged. Oh, I'm fighting every single trainer I can.
Oh, and by the way, Nintendo, Nuzlocke is not a mod.
It is not a mod. I think we talked about that. They thought that Nuzlocking was a mod, and so they, some channel that was sponsored by them got
their sponsorship revoked.
Or something.
Yeah.
I don't know the truth of that. I don't know if it's actually true. I just remember hearing that was something that had happened, and that's fucking stupid.
Sounds like something Nintendo would do.
Oh my god.
To be honest.
Like, they're just playing a challenge run in your game.
Yeah.
See you.
Bye, SS Anne.
We'll come back here.
Oh, it comes back?
No.
But we come back here.
If we use bugs, we can come back to this
Oh,
area,
gotcha.
which we will do later, because I wanna show something later.
Did you notice the detail of the water tiles that was behind it?
Yeah. I think it's neat.
Pretty interesting. And they didn't have to add that detail, but they did. I guess developers don't need to add any details, but they do, so...
Yeah. Any details help.
But specifically for a Game Boy game, that's an interesting detail.
From Pokemon, from a Game Boy game that's from 1996?
Yeah.
I believe it's 96.
Pretty sure it's from 1996.
Yeah, this game you actually have to go into your menu to use HMs, which is not a problem. I don't think they added that until Gen 4, actually, now that I say that.
I was about to ask.
The first one? The first one? Are you kidding?
That wasn't memory, was it?
No, it's random.
Randomized.
And then the next one is one of the adjacent ones, but I think it's bugged and doesn't work properly sometimes. I don't remember the specifics on how it's bugged, but we're gonna have to fucking hard.
It said that they were reset.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find the first one again, because it changes.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah, it changes. So if you get it wrong, if you guess wrong, then you have to find the first one again. So,
that's kind of mean.
I would hate. God. I would hate to speedrun this game and get your speedrun fucked over because of this.
Yeah.
There's probably some tricks to it.
Probably. A consistent setup that you can do.
Like, getting the right, seed or RNG.
Yeah. Do you know how they, manipulate RNG in Super Mario Bros?
No.
It depends on how long you wait on the title screen.
Hey! We got it.
There we go.
Easy peasy.
There's probably a way to manipulate RNG for this game as well.
There is. I more so know about RNG for the DS, which I'll actually do some RNG when we do play Gen 4. Because that's like the one that I'm like most confident in doing RNG on.
Yeah.
I'll probably only do it for like one thing, because doing like further RNG, I don't want to like slog down the whole playthrough because I'm doing RNG.
Right.
But the only RNG I want to do is getting like a specific trainer ID for our character. Because there's some funky stuff you can do with that. We'll get to that. We'll get to it. Because right now we are 3 generations away from playing that, so we'll have to get going on this whole Pokemon journey. We will probably take a couple game hiatus from Pokemon just to like not have them back to back, but after this one, like I'm probably gonna play it like relatively soon after we play this first one, just because the first 2 Gens 1 and 2 are actually like Gen 2 was originally thought of as a sequel,
Right.
because they didn't have like the concept of different generations.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Makes
I
sense.
think they were also planning on calling it Pokemon 2 as well.
Yeah.
Originally, but I could be wrong on that. That seems like something they would do.
I mean, it makes sense.
We do not have any status, any full heals or thunder. What is it? Paralyze heal. We don't have either of those right now, so we'll just go for it.
A lot of franchises in their infancy kind of go through a phase where before they define a lot of ways the franchise goes, they
experiment.
Yeah, or they go with the normal way of doing things. Like, for example, I mean, this is not a great example of that, but the first Halo game is not called Halo or Halo 1. It's called Halo Combat Evolved, because they weren't planning on making a sequel. And, yeah, so... Anyway, that's not a really good example of that, but I can imagine, if they, instead of going with Pokemon Gold and Silver, they said Pokemon 2 Blue version, Pokemon 2 Red version, or something like that.
Go to the polls.
Yeah, that should be Pokemon Go to the Polls version. I'm trying to think of a different example of that, though.
It's just, just playing Gen 1 Pokemon, because I did go to a trade school for computer coding for, I believe it was one, school year. I didn't, I transferred because it ended up not being what I wanted to do, but I did, do a bit of coding when I was there. And one of the things that we were tasked with doing was coding an RPG kind of thing. That just the whole project reminded me of Generation 1 Pokemon. But what we were making was super bare bones, so it's not even comparable.
Right.
But I just remembered working on it, and it was a really fun project.
Was it a turn-based RPG?
Yeah.
It's amazing how many subgenres there are in just the RPG genre.
JRPG, RPG, action RPG,
CRPG.
Computer RPG? What's CRPG?
I don't remember, but I know it exists. Dungeon crawlers, turn-based RPGs, trying to think, even action RPGs have subgenres.
Yeah, they do.
Within themselves, so, you have Zelda-like games.
What is it? Metroidvania?
I don't know if a Metroidvania would count as an RPG.
Well, that's kind of
It's more of an adventure game. with just...
But lots of people refer to stuff as Metroidvanias, and then there's like you said, Zelda likes.
Well, I think Metroidvania is not so much a style of gameplay as much as it is the style of progression in a game. Because, like, a platformer could be a Metroidvania, or a...
People refer to Dark Souls 1 as a Metroidvania.
Yeah, well, I would say Dark Souls is much more of a Metroidvania than it would be an RPG. Like, I would consider Dark Souls and Souls-like games to be action-adventure Metroidvanias. There isn't really anything role-playing about them. You know, just because you're able to equip items doesn't really make it an RPG, in my opinion.
It's like an RPG in the same way that this is an RPG. You don't really have very many like story choices, but like your build and how you approach the game is different based on player choice.
Right.
So that's why I consider Pokemon an RPG, but I totally understand when people are like, it's not like a lot of RPGs where there's not like story choices.
Yeah.
So I understand because I think you had this conversation in
a different
episode. Not in a different episode, but in a text text chat
Discord.
Discord. Yeah, you were like, Pokemon is not an RPG. I'm like, I mean, it is, but like, I understand where you're coming from.
I think if you're to count like Pokemon and Dark Souls and games, like, you kind of have to loosen the definition of RPG. Like,
I see what you mean.
Like, same thing with Skyrim. Like, Skyrim is really not an RPG. It's like yes, you have character progression.
Is there like I've never finished Skyrim. Is there like an end game choice that you have to make?
There's no choices in Skyrim.
Okay.
I
wasn't sure if there was like an end game you have to like, oh, you're gonna go do the bad ending or the good ending kind of thing.
No, there's not even good and bad endings.
Oh, okay.
The thing with Skyrim, the only thing it really shares with RPGs is, or the only thing you have control over in Skyrim is your character progression, and that's it.
Before anyone like blames me in the comments, I have played Skyrim. I've never finished Skyrim. I think the farthest I got in the main quest was what was it, High Hrothgar?
Yeah.
Where you go up to the mountaintop. I think I got up to the mountaintops, did like some other tutorial, got bored, and then went and did more side quests and garbage.
That's incredibly early in the game.
I know.
That's so early in the
game. But like I played... Hold up.
You maybe got... You got like 10% through the main quest line, if you only got to High Hrothgar.
Yeah. Let's see how much fucking... I'm in the background, finding... Where the fuck is Skyrim? It's under E, isn't it? Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, you just passed it.
I have 39.1 hours, and the farthest I've gotten the main story is High Hrothgar. If that is anything to show how fucking easily I do at finishing RPGs like that. That is also why I haven't finished Fallout 4. However, I have, through fucking brute force of just goofing off around the map and completing quests, finished Fallout 3 and New Vegas. But I have not finished Fallout 4. Skyrim. I've never played any of the older Elder Scrolls games either. I really want to, but I also... Like, I really want to. But also, something that had deterred me from playing them as of recent was you wanting to start this channel. And so, and even before that, when we were playing games, like, this whole channel started off, we were playing games. We were playing games with one another. And then we're like, we should just, like, we should start recording this.
Yeah.
So that we can, like, look back on it. Not as much, like, making a... I don't know if it's what you were intending, but like growing a fan base. But like, I think it was also equally amount as important to us that we like preserve like just what we did in our game.
Yeah, and our reactions, you know.
Exactly.
But
I don't know where I got sidetracked. Where were we talking about?
we were talking about RPGs
because of the channel, and before that, us playing games, like focusing on playing games together, so we can see each other's reactions to certain games that one has played but the other hasn't.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't played any of the Elder Scrolls games in the last, like, what is it? 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we started playing games together around fucking COVID time.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're fighting Lieutenant Surge. We're fighting one of the bosses right now. He is known as the Lightning American.
Nice.
Before like America was like removed.
Yeah, removed from the lore.
When they like scrubbed the different continents from the lore of the game. So he's the Lightning American. I believe. Okay, so I skipped the dialogue at the start because we were talking about stuff. At the beginning of the fight, I believe he says something along the lines of, "Me and my Pokemon will take you down. These Pokemon fought alongside me in the war," or something like that.
Again, Pokemon being hard.
Yeah,
and brutal.
This man canonizes that there was a war in the Pokemon universe.
Yeah.
And that's also theorized as to why you don't see father figures in this region. Or you see them in other regions. Most regions you don't, and it's weird. But specifically this one, people are like, well, there is a fucking Lightning American who says he fought in a war. Maybe your father died in the war, or is off at war. Well, if he's off at war, I guess Lieutenant Surge would not be here. But
well, he might have been wounded or something.
Also, what
sent home?
Yeah. But why would this is based on the Kanto region of Japan.
What war would it have been? You know, because Japan has not been at war since like World War II. So. Right. And this is, I'm sure, contemporary to the 90s, you know.
Exactly. What did he do? Fight in the Vietnam War?
Yeah. I don't know that for sure if Japan hasn't been at war since World War II, but I assume. But
they're too busy with other stuff.
They're too busy being cool
being cool and making really cool games and shit. And content and just I don't know. I really like a lot of the games that are produced from Japan.
Yeah. But
that's not the only thing that before it's like there's more to their culture than that. I know. I'm just tying it to something that I enjoy from them.
Yeah. There was one other point I wanted to make, though, about RPGs, so I mentioned Zelda and Zelda likes, and people are like, well, if you don't consider the Elder Scrolls, you know, Skyrim an RPG, why do you consider Zelda an RPG? And I don't consider Zelda an RPG either.
What the fuck is an RPG in your opinion?
It's something where
from the heart.
Yeah, it's inside every one of us.
Real life is the only RPG. You heard it here first, folks.
I think an RPG game.
Whoa! You're the real deal, kid. Fine then, take the Thunder Badge. The Thunder Badge cranks up your Pokemon speed. It also lets your Pokemon fly anytime, kid. You're special, kid. Take this. Yo, kid, make room in your pack. Sorry.
So, in my opinion, how I define an RPG is a game where you build a character. Hold on. Wait. Let me think about this. So, An RPG game is a game where you make decisions that influence how you play the game for the rest of the time you play the game. So you have to have tangible decisions that change the way you play the game. But another thing is that not only do you make decisions that change the way you play the game, but when you are starting the game, like when you're creating your character or creating your party or whatever, the way you create your character influences the decisions you make and why you make those decisions. So for example, let's say you're playing an RPG game where you can select your skills and stuff. Let's say I want my character to be high in stealth, like have a high stealth skill, stuff like that, like I'm making a thief character. And because you're making a thief character, that's going to influence the decisions you make later on in the game. Like, maybe you side with a faction, like a thieves guild, or you don't, instead of siding with the rich and powerful, you side with, like, the poor people or whatever as, like, a Robin Hood kind of character. So, when you're making your character, the type of character you make influence the decisions that you make later on in the game. And then, the decisions you make during the game change the way you interact with the game or how the game imposes limitations or rewards onto you. So that's how I define a role-playing game. So, with a game like Skyrim doesn't check either of those boxes, because when you create a character in Skyrim, the only thing you're changing is their appearance. You're not changing any stats or anything. So, one, you're not creating a character that will influence the way you play the game. And also in Skyrim, you don't make any decisions in Skyrim that change the way you play the game other than regular character progression, like leveling up.
Right.
So, like when you level up in Skyrim, you can choose to level up by using a skill. You're leveling up that skill. So the game kind of rewards you for using... The game levels up based on your playstyle. And really the only progression in Skyrim is being able to select perks of a certain skill. So, now, that being said, Skyrim is my favorite Elder Scrolls game. It's the game I get the most enjoyment out of. Like, yes, I'll go out and say that Skyrim's not an RPG, because it's not. It's frankly not an RPG, not in my opinion. But that doesn't mean I dislike the game. In fact, it's my favorite Elder Scrolls game, and it's one of my top 5 favorite games of all time. And people will say, well...
What's in your top 5 least favorite games of all time?
I would have to think about that. Because I typically don't think of games I dislike. I think of games I like. But people will ask me, like, why would you choose Skyrim as your favorite Elder Scrolls game over a game that actually has more RPG elements like Morrowind or Daggerfall?
Right.
And it's simply because I just get more enjoyment out of playing Skyrim. It's as simple as that. Like, yes, I agree, Daggerfall and Morrowind, much better RPGs than Skyrim is. But I still get more enjoyment out of playing Skyrim. I feel like the presentation is better. The gameplay is more interesting. Like, the moment-to-moment gameplay is more interesting. Ideally, what I would want out of the Elder Scrolls 6 would be the role-playing aspects of Daggerfall, but with the more up-to-date gameplay, like action-oriented gameplay of Skyrim. That's what I would want for an Elder Scrolls 6.
How long has it been since the announcement for Elder Scrolls 6?
About 6 years.
Jesus Christ.
The game, I think we're at a point in time where
The game's never.
the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer is older than how Skyrim was when the reveal trailer was dropped. It's crazy.
I think for like game series, like where they have like multiple different game entries in the series, for example, Pokemon, Fallout. I haven't played any other ones, but I would assume Skyrim would be the case too. I feel like it mostly boils down to less so like the story and like what happens in the game, and more so on like the engine that the game is in and how the game feels. If that makes sense. Like Fallout 4 is an amazing game. A lot of people like it's a lot of people's favorite.
It's my favorite.
It's your favorite.
It's my favorite Fallout.
I played that one first. I didn't finish it, but I did play that one first. I played quite a bit of it. So for Fallout, I have gotten 123.9 hours of the game. I think the farthest I got in the main story was teleporting into the Institute. That's it. I don't think I completed any farther than that. Also, I think there's only Sandshrew and Drowsy here. But I only teleported into the Institute, and I didn't really get any further. But after that, like, I played other games within the series. I played 3, I played New Vegas, I've almost completed 1. I need to get back into playing 1, because I'm, like, right at the very end, and I think it was because I got, like, a new computer or something that I had to, like, stop playing it, and I got, like, out of the rhythm of playing it. But yeah. I need to finish that one. But I feel like Fallout New Vegas and 3 are my favorites because of the engine that they're in. Not to say anything bad against the Fallout 4 engine. The Fallout 4 engine is awesome. But I feel like the Fallout 3 and New Vegas engine have their own charm to them. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
They feel kind of janky in a way. I like games that are slightly janky in a way.
Well, you know what's really funny about that?
Yeah.
Is that the reason I like Fallout 4, one of the reasons I like Fallout 4 is for the exact opposite reason. I like the upgrade of the Fallout 4 engine.
That's
like, and
we have our own tastes.
But you know what's really interesting about that is that typically, when it comes to Bethesda games,
can I hold up real quick?
Yeah.
So this little bastard right here is why Gen 1 is annoying. Motherfucker put me to sleep in this game. So in other games, when you wake up, you get to move, right? In this game, when you wake up, you have to spend a turn waking up, so you don't do anything with the turn that you wake up.
Right.
And so he put me to sleep for 2 turns. I wake up, then he immediately uses Wrap, which I can't do anything when he uses Wrap until Wrap finishes.
Yeah.
So we're kind of stuck in this fight right now with this level 18 Bellsprout, just because it's spamming the most annoying moves in the fucking game right now. As for, like, stalling purposes that the AI can do.
Yeah.
Anyway. Sorry. I just wanted to say that while it was happening.
So, I was gonna say, typically with Bethesda games, usually when a Bethesda fan plays their first Bethesda game in one of the 2 franchises, Fallout and Elder Scrolls.
Or what? Fallout or New Vegas? I'm stupid. Fallout or Elder Scrolls, yeah.
Typically, the first Elder Scrolls game or the first Fallout game that person plays is going to be their favorite. Not true for you and not true for me either, because Fallout 3 was my first Fallout game, but Fallout 4 is my favorite.
Is it because you can play Fallout 4?
That's one of the reasons, but not the entire reason. I do think
Bethesda, for the love of God, make Steam Fallout 3 actually playable. Isn't it still not playable? I don't remember if they fixed it or not, but I'm assuming they didn't.
They have
been for years.
Well, they removed games for Windows Live.
They did.
They did remove that, which is a good addition or removal, but it's still really the only way you can really like consistently play Fallout 3 is through the Tale of Two Wastelands mod.
Which also, like, changes a lot about the game. So Fallout 3 has... Okay, so Fallout 3 has big guns and small guns.
Yeah.
New Vegas just has guns. And so in Tale of Two Wastelands, the stat big guns is removed. As well, you can aim down sights. That's not the case for original Fallout 3, so it's not true to how Fallout 3 was, like, made.
Yeah.
Furthermore, actually, something that I more recently realized when playing, Tale of Two Wasteland restores content that was cut or not implemented into the final game of Fallout 3.
Right.
And New Vegas. I think mostly Fallout 3, though. Because I apparently, like, I was looking it up for some of the perks that I was using.
Mm-hmm.
They don't exist in the original Fallout 3.
Right.
So, in my current build, I have, Rad Child, I believe, which, as long as you're irradiated, if I'm remembering which one is the correct one, Rad Child, if you're irradiated, you heal HP over time based on how irradiated you are. And in Fallout 3, there was a I think it was either cut, I believe it was unimplemented, not cut, but unimplemented, in the final game of a perk where if you are irradiated, your limbs regen health over time.
Mm-hmm.
Which, that perk is super busted, and I understand why they didn't put it in the final game, because it makes perks like Adamantium Skeleton useless.
Yeah,
because
useless.
You only need 1% of any health on your limb, and it works fine.
Right.
And so if you have that perk and you're irradiated, something deals damage to your limbs, it is immediately healed and there's no problem. It's kind of a busted perk.
Yeah.
So I can see some like problems with playing Tale of Two Wastelands instead of the original Fallout 3. But like you said, it's a bit more stable.
Yeah, well, ideally
they would fucking fix it.
Ideally, if it was possible to play Fallout 3 without installing New Vegas, I mean, that would be ideal. But when I did my first PC playthrough of Fallout 3, because I originally played Fallout 3 on the Xbox 360, but when I did my first PC playthrough, I had to play the game in windowed mode at the lowest resolution with every single CPU core except one disabled for it to
because it needed to be because it was made for a lower.
I guess that was the only way I could.
Holy hell!
And I couldn't use quick saves or it would crash. So that was the only way I could play Fallout 3.
Are you even playing it at that point? Or is it playing you?
I played a complete playthrough.
No, but is it playing you at that point?
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous.
That is a lot of effort, and I commend you on that.
But
just to play your game.
That should tell you how much I enjoyed Fallout 3.
Right.
But
that might have had a negative impact on your opinion of the game too.
Right. But going back to RPGs earlier, I don't want to gatekeep what an RPG is. It's just my personal definition of what an RPG is. That's my ideal RPG. So
it's a PI.
So if I say a certain game is not an RPG, don't take that as the gospel or anything. That's just my personal opinion.
So if you follow the word of Kevin...
if you follow the word of Kevin, yes, then role-playing games are defined as,
that specific...
you need to make...
avenue.
But people will say, well, yeah, there are choices you make in Skyrim, like siding with the Stormcloaks or the Imperials, but that doesn't count as an actual decision, because no matter who you side with, either the Stormcloaks or the Imperials, that doesn't change anything about the game.
But the thing is like, I see it like for a lot of these games that you like, Pokemon or Skyrim,
yeah,
and games like that, where you're saying it's not like as much of a role-playing game because your choices don't really matter.
mm-hmm.
I view them as an RPG in the sense that you are creating your own character, and the player has their own like role to play in making your adventure through the game feel like you're making a character, like you're envisioning a character,
Yeah.
and you would play the role of that character. Like, my character wouldn't do this, so I'm gonna do this instead.
Well, but the issue
with
that is that, first of all, you can do that with any character you make in the game. You can do that exact same thing. And two, the decision you make doesn't have an impact on the world itself, or like the way you play the game. So, like, I guess in a way, I would view, if I were to compare Zelda and Pokemon, I would say Pokemon is far more of an RPG because you do decide who is in your party, and that does impact the way you do play the game to an extent. Versus Zelda,
like now, we're in a unique scenario where most people wouldn't, that we have a fucking Ivysaur that can't really attack and has to rely on a shit ton of status moves to actually do anything.
Exactly. Like, in Pokemon, you do have some sort of influence over the way the game is played, versus, like, Zelda. Zelda's progression is like...
more of a puzzle game, isn't it not?
Right. It's like an adventure puzzle game, sort of, where the progression across two different playthroughs of the same game is going to be almost entirely the same experience, where, like, oh, you got the boomerang, okay, now you got the
like, for games we play on the channel, like, for example, King Kong, that's not really an RPG.
No,
it's more so of a puzzle game.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's an action adventure.
It's a good puzzle game.
I think a lot of people,
kind of, depending on how you look at it.
When you use my definition of an RPG, a lot of action-adventure games get confused with being an RPG. When it's just an action-adventure game. And there's nothing wrong with that it's just made to be an action-adventure game.
That's okay.
Where the experience is exactly tailored to be a certain way. And that's not a bad thing. Like I said, Skyrim, despite being the least RPG game in the Elder Scrolls series, is my favorite Elder Scrolls game. You know, So,
one specific thing that, like we were talking about Fallout, I'm really wanting to finish Fallout 1, because I think I have, like, one last task to complete in the game, and then the game's over.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can play Fallout 2, which, that is a very interesting, like, hey, we got Razor Leaf. We can actually we can actually make attacks. Thank God.
It is about time.
So, Fallout 2, you play the role of a descendant of the first game's protagonist, which I think is pretty freaking interesting.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. I think that's a really cool concept, and like seeing the world and how it's changed since the first game. And I am interested in like seeing that for myself once I finally get to that, but I have not gotten to that game yet. I think I played the tutorial just to see how it was, but I didn't play much outside of that, because I wanted to play the first one first. Which I will want to play on the channel at some point, so look forward to that. I think I don't remember what did I mention what I was playing after this, or is that undecided at the moment?
I don't think you've told me.
Yeah. I think I might have talked about possibly like TAC 2 maybe.
Yeah.
But honestly, Fallout 1 would be pretty interesting as well.
Fallout 1 would be a very interesting playthrough.
Or Dark Souls 1.
Yeah.
I kind of want to play.
I think next,
something.
after Lego Star Wars, we're gonna do Super Mario 64.
That's a big one.
The reason
super hyped for playing that.
The reason why we're doing Super Mario 64 right now is because we're in the same location, and both of us want to play that game, like take turns playing that game, so that's the entire reason we're doing that game.
It's gonna take us forever if we're gonna play all of the 3D Mario games like that, then.
Yeah. Well...
Like, we'll play, like, one 3D Mario game a year.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good pace, in my opinion, but...
Maybe 2. Let's try to push for 2 per year. Because then we can do Mario 64 and then Sunshine this year, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Just a thought.
Sunshine is a much longer game than 64.
You tend to stay up here until, like, autumn.
Until about September or October, so...
Yeah, we have plenty of time. It's May.
Yeah. After...
And I'm done with... I finished all my... Like, I'm, like, finished with finals forever.
Yeah.
As well. I'm done with school now.
Yeah.
God, that is...
You did your last semester?
Yeah, fuck. I'm old. Not really.
Yeah.
I'm like the youngest person in our friend group, and I'm like, oh god, I'm so old.
No, I'm the oldest person. For sure, I feel old.
Yeah, you're the first one to graduate out of our friend group, I believe.
But my plan was after Super Mario 64, but I see your point with doing Sunshine. Although, the issue with Sunshine is that I would prefer to play it on the GameCube instead of the Switch. But
I could order one.
The thing about the Switch...
Have we just... Wait, no, okay, we can play it, actually. We have all of the materials necessary. I have a GameCube controller, I have a Wii, you have an AVI converter.
Yeah.
And Joe has a copy of Mario Sunshine that we can bum.
Oh.
I don't know if it works. It could be, like, a disc, like a scratch disc, and it won't work, but... we can try to bum a copy of Mario Sunshine off of him.
Well, here's the thing about Sunshine.
What's up?
On the Switch, is that it's widescreen. Versus on the GameCube, it's not widescreen.
You right?
Yeah, it's 4:3 aspect ratio on the GameCube. Versus on Switch, it's 16:9.
That's what I like about, like, watching, a big example of what I'm thinking of right now is, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever watch, that nowadays.
It's 4:3.
Yeah.
But Legend of Korra is 16:9. That's interesting. But, we could do Sunshine after 64, but my original plan was after 64 I was gonna play Marathon. The original Marathon. It's the first-person shooter that Bungie made before Halo. That was on Apple computers. And you can play the
Apple computers?
Like, whatever was around in the 90s.
Okay. I wasn't sure, like, which version, like, because based on that, I would figure out, like, how old the game was, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I think Marathon...
Just Apple, I wasn't sure.
I think the original Marathon came out in, like, 1996?
Huh.
1995, maybe? Probably 1996. And, well, I have a phone, I can look it up, but you can play all of the classic marathons.
Pokemon Fan Club. All Pokemon fans are welcome. We're gonna get the bite.
You can play...
real quick. I chair the Pokemon Fan Club. I have collected over 100 Pokemon, and I'm very fussy when it comes to Pokemon. So, did you come visit to hear about my Pokemon? We wanted to get the bike, so yes.
Yes.
Good, then listen up. My favorite, Rapidash. It, cute, lovely, smart, plus, amazing. You think so? Oh yes, it, stunning, kindly, love it.
Why is he talking
Hug
like
it
that?
when sleeping warm and I don't know fucking clue. This is why I was wanting to pause real quick.
Yeah.
Spectacular, ravishing. Oops, look at the time. I kept you too long. Thanks for hearing me out. I want you to have this. That looks like a fucking like Godzilla or T-Rex in the background.
On the paintings, you know what I thought those were? Those looked like to me.
Spaceman?
It looked like a football helmet to me.
Oh yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
What is it though? Let's all listen politely to other trainers. That does not clear up what that fucking painting is at all. In the slightest.
But Marathon, 1994. Wow, okay. It came out for, let's see what exactly it came out for. Classic Mac OS. But you can play all of the classic Marathon games on Steam for free. And they're just old boomer shooter games.
I love me a good boomer shooter.
And it was the series that Bungie developed before Halo. So that was my original plan, was to play Classic Marathon after Mario 64, but Sunshine might be a better option, maybe? I don't know. I'm afraid that we're not going to have enough time for Sunshine to complete it, because Sunshine is a long game.
We don't have to 100% it. We could 100% it later.
That's true. That's true.
Because I can do one that we can come back to.
That's very true.
Like Reassembly currently is on standby.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what Pokemon I should add to my party, because I'm making it a goal to add a Pokemon to my party after each gym badge. Or close to each gym badge. I want a third party member right now, because just 2 Pokemon I feel is too few. I want to... I think you can get Magnemite. I think that's yellow that you can get Magnemite outside the power plant, like above, right outside the Dark Tunnel. So we can't get the fucking Magnemite that I would want to get right now, which is sad. We are getting super close.
Destroyed that Squirtle.
I did. I body slammed it into the fucking ground. We are getting close to the town that shall not be named, Lavender Town. I could get a Gengar, maybe.
Yeah. Isn't it, like, unusual in terms of, like, across all Pokemon games to see a starter Pokemon, like, in battle that isn't yours? Because that was a Squirtle, which is a starter Pokemon.
It's more so common in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Because, like, in Gen 2, I vividly remember there being, like a trainer below Goldenrod that has a... Bulbasaur? I want to say Bulbasaur. Could be wrong.
Well, wait, but what is was it not the grass type for Gen 2?
No. It was not the grass. I don't think there is any trainer that uses, aside from your rival, that uses the starter Pokemon of the region in Gen 2, but that it is a starter Pokemon. Which is what I thought you were meaning.
Well, I was meaning starter Pokemon for the region, yeah.
That is true. It's usually you don't see the starter Pokemon.
Yeah.
For the region.
At all.
And for Gen 1 and 2, you see Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle actually more frequently than you normally would.
Yeah.
It's kind of a special case. In that way.
The Gen 2 starters are Cyndaquil, Mudkip? No, that's Gen 3.
Yes.
Cyndaquil.
Crocodile. Crocodile.
Right. And that's the water one, right?
Trying to give you a little bit of a hint.
The grass type is that one that in Super Smash Bros. Melee throws the leaves.
How does it do it?
With its head.
Does it go
like it goes like that?
Yeah.
What is that?
That's Chikorita.
Yeah. Is that the grass type starter for Gen 2? Okay. Right. Okay.
When we play Gen 2, I might pick Chikorita just out of pity because it gets so much hate.
Yeah.
And it's so sad. The reason why is it's so bad against like all of the gens in the game, and it makes me so sad. I might. Okay. I'll do this. We'll pick Chikorita for Gen 4. For Gen 2, I think I might pick... Oh god, I'm torn. I like Cyndaquil and Totodile. I'll probably go with Cyndaquil. Just because of the physical special split hasn't been implemented yet. And then, because I want to play a Johto game with Chikorita, we'll play Gen 4 with Chikorita. We can play... There is now a third fucking game that has Totodile as a starter. And that's the newest games that are coming out later this year, which God knows when we'll get to that. But if we ever do get to it, I promise you I will pick Totodile. In like 5 years from now when we fucking play that game. If we play that game.
So, why does that game and why does Gen 4 have a Gen 2 starter?
Okay.
Okay.
Gen 1 is red, blue, yellow.
Yeah.
And, red, green, blue, yellow.
Yeah.
And they have the starter that, like, they're just Kanto. Gen 2, you pick the starters of Chikorita, Cyndaquil, or Totodile. Gen 3 has the Hoenn region with Mudkip, Rico, and Torchic, and has the remakes of Kanto with returning to Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. Right. Gen 4 has Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, which have their respective starters. And then there's Gen 4's remake of Gen 2.
Okay.
Which is... That remake is usually regarded as the most... Like, that's the best Pokemon game. Is the Gen 4 remake of Gen 2.
Gotcha.
The DS, the DS remakes of Gen 2.
So what you're saying is that the Gen 4 game having a Gen 2 starter is not because it's a Gen 4 game, but because it's a remake of a Gen 2 game.
Bingo.
So what is the starter of what are the starters of Gen 4 that aren't remakes?
Chimchar, Turtwig, and Piplup. I don't know if you've played those ones. I've know about what I'm talking about.
I've played a little bit of Pokemon Pearl. There we go. There's another starter right there.
Check it off the list.
So we have seen all the starters in battle.
Bingo. So if you're wondering about the most recent why Totodile's in the game that's coming out later this year, they are doing a new, like not genre, but like style of making the game where it's taking place in an older game, but in a different time period.
Yeah.
Disconnected from the first game. Because the Gen 4 games are in modern day Sinnoh.
Right.
And they did a remake, which are dog shit, by the way. There's a remake that is the same game as Diamond and Pearl, which why they chose to remake that one when there's quite a few problems with that, it's not up to me, but that was a bad decision. But they did also make a new game that's Legends Arceus, which is taking place in the past when Pokeballs were first being like becoming mainstream. And people were still scared of Pokemon and lived in fear of them. And they had starters from older games. 3 different starters from 3 different games. And the ones that we're getting right now are Legends Z... I don't know if it's Z2A or Legends ZA. I've heard both ways, but the starters are Totodile, Chikorita, and what was it? Tepig from Gen 5. Why they did 2 Gen 2 starters and 1 Gen 5 starter, no fucking clue. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're smoking. But that they bring back Totodile, and so if we do ever play that one, I'll pick Totodile for y'all.
Okay, so here's my other question about that. So is the Pokemon Company still making new Pokemon?
Yes.
So it's not a case of them just being like, okay, we're done making Pokemon, we're gonna just roll with the ones. Okay.
So what the thing is that they did with these, when they brought back these old starters in these newer games, they made it so the first 2 stages are the exact, like the first 2 evolutions, the first stage and the second stage are the exact same, but the third stage is a new form of that evolution. It looks different than what you're used to.
Yeah.
I'm cold. I don't know why I'm cold.
One thing I did want to say, and since we're on the subject of Pokemon, which we should be because we are playing Pokemon.
You're in Pokemon World.
But, I have a collection of Pokemon cards from my youth, and I think I mentioned in a previous episode that I bought like 300 Pokemon cards from a friend of mine back in like 2006 or so for like $15. And it's from the Jungle set.
Those are probably, well, depending on their condition, I guess, but those are most likely pretty valuable.
Yeah.
Just because of them being older.
I have it's either a holographic or a shiny, I don't know,
I'm a moron, and I traded mine. I traded mine for other trading cards. So I still like traded trading cards for trading cards. I don't have my Pokemon cards anymore. And that's sad. I'm sad about that.
I bring up my Pokemon cards though because I've never actually played the game Pokemon. Like the trading card game, I've never actually played the trading card game.
I have no clue how to play, don't ask me.
But last week I played my first game.
What was it?
I played it at my sister's house because my niece got Pokemon Battle something. It's a Pokemon trading card set that teaches you how to play the trading card game.
That's dope as fuck.
And we learned it together, and I'm like, this is actually
You're gonna have to teach me how to play, because I have no idea how to... There is the... You know what we should play?
What?
The Pokemon TCG Game Boy game.
I have it.
We should play that.
I have that game.
You should play that and coach me on how to play the game, because I have no idea how to play.
But yeah, I played my first ever game of the actual trading card game with my niece, and it was pretty good. Like, I thought it was an interesting game. Now, I know next to nothing about Magic the Gathering, but I would have to say, like, imagine Magic the Gathering, but simplified, and for a younger audience. That's what the Pokemon.
That's kind of what, the gist that I got.
Yeah.
It was also made by the same people that made Magic the Gathering.
Right.
As the first few sets. I don't remember how many sets, but the first few sets were made by the same people that made by Wizards of the Coast, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. But it's interesting because I've had these Pokemon cards for like close to, well, over 20 years, and I've just never played the game, and I'm glad I didn't, because all my cards are in like excellent condion.
That's
because
awesome.
Because they've never been touched.
Can I go through your cards and see if there's any that I like I paid for this one or something?
They are not here.
Damn. No.
I have one of the cards I have. I looked up on It's like a shiny or holographic. I don't know really what the difference is or anything, but it's.
Is it a shadowless holo foil?
It is. For some reason, the name of the Pokemon is blanking on me.
What does it look like?
It's a water type.
Poliwag.
It's not that.
Psyduck?
It looks
Bulldog?
like it's almost like a serpent.
Gyarados.
No.
Milotic. No, because it's early.
It's not
Dratini.
a
Dratini? That's not a water type.
It might be Dratini.
Don't look it up. I want to figure it out first.
I'm pretty sure it's a water type. When I say serpent,
Is it blue?
It's blue.
Does it have orbs around its neck?
I don't know.
Does it have wings on the side of its head?
I don't think so. When I say serpent, what I mean is that it doesn't... no, it's not that, I don't think. Oh, I think it's a Dratini. I think it's a shiny or holographic Dratini Pokemon card from the Jungle set. Oops. You didn't see that.
Just cut that like couple
Here,
frames.
let me look it up. Let me look it up, because
One of those ones?
no, it's not one of those. You might have to scroll up because I didn't see the top.
Well, those are the newer ones that you wouldn't know.
Let me look up the Pokemon Jungle. It's not. I'm almost positive it's not a Dragonair. It's not that Pokemon.
Okay, it's not a Gyarados.
No.
I just want to double check.
Um,
I'm playing and looking stuff up.
I found it. Vaporeon.
That's not a serpent.
Well, it has a long tail.
That's true.
why I thought it was a serpent.
I like that artwork of Vaporeon though. It looks like a goofball.
It's a shiny Vaporeon card. And last time I looked it up on...
Honestly, that artwork is super cute looking. It looks like a fucking goober. I love it. It's Jungle Vaporeon.
Yeah, Jungle Vaporeon, but mine is a shiny...
That's awesome.
And last time I looked it up on price charting, a PSA 10, rated 10 card of that goes for about $1,500.
But PSA 10.
Exactly, PSA 10. So, no, I would say if I had to guess, the condition of mine is... I don't think it's ever been played. It's never been played, and if I had to guess, mine is at least a PSA 10. Or 9, I mean.
I was gonna say,
Rated
at
9.
least that's the max, bro.
Mine is at least a 9. So
do you only have jungle cards?
no, I don't. It's not just Jungle, but it's early. I might have an Ivysaur.
I think it was the first edition of the base set Ivysaur. That was like my favorite card.
Yeah.
I never knew how to play. I just liked the artwork. But this one as well.
I do have a Kadabra.
Fucking love that Dabra.
I'm pretty sure I have that.
That was one of my. That was I believe my first card that I ever got.
Yeah.
And I should probably try to fucking contact the person that I traded the cards to, see if he has them still.
Mm-hmm.
He probably has them like at his house. I'm tempted to. No, it's 1:21. I'm not messaging him.
1:21 in the morning, by the way. Just to clarify. We are late nighters. How far are we from Lavender Town? Because
Like about an episode.
about an episode.
Yeah.
Do you want to finish this episode off?
Well, I was gonna end it right here in the Pokemon Center.
Oh, okay.
And here we are. Rock Tunnel. Alright.
There we go. All of our Pokemons are healed. And, we'll, of course, save the game and finish off this episode. thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. And do you have anything else you want to add?
Vaporeon is not a serpent, that's my final moment.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree.
There
It's
are
not.
feet.
It's not a serpent. I agree, but that was
No,
the
I
image
know,
I
I
had
know.
in my head.
I know, but I'm just teasing you because I'm like,
Um,
I could have figured it out if I had enough context of what it is.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, we'll see you in the next episode. Take care, everybody.
take care.